morning, High Point. The lights are bright, turf pellets are flying, and the rivalries run deep at the IM Fields. It's a new week, and we all know what that means. Another week of intramural football at High Point University. From some teams still trying to make a name for themselves to seasoned squads chasing intramural glory. This week's slate has it all. We've got powerhouse offenses, lockdown defenses, and more drama than a group project gone wrong. Can the top five stay undefeated, or will an underdog pull off the upset of the season? Will rivalry games live up to the trash talk that's been echoing across campus all week? All these questions will be answered right here on Hpurec College Game Day. Hello and welcome. I am your host, Nate Neubauer, joined today by J. Tonio Littlejohn, and we'd like to welcome our special guest first. He is the best club baseball pitcher in the nation, a man who does in fact need an introduction, defensive coordinator for PDE, Brad Robinette. We also have multiple-time IM champion and director of Aquatics here at Hpurec, Pate Dunlap. Guys, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Nate, thank you so much for having us today.
I'm pumped. This is awesome.
All right, obviously, Dom Aquino, as we can see, is not here, missing from center screen, so there will be no outfit of the week. However, Dom Aquino has graced us with his weekly power rankings, so let's go to the men's side. We have Animal Crackers staying at number 1, I Chase Brown at 2, Meat Machine staying right steady at 3, PDE jumps into the top 5 at 4, and Checkdowns only at number 5. JT, what are your thoughts on this men's top 5?
I think we were going to see a lot of movement again next week. PDE is going to have some tough games next week. Meat Machine's up there. I think Meat Machine and PDE deserve to be up there, even though they had the tie in their tie column. But other than that, the top 2 teams remain the top 2, and I think they will continue to be the top 2 throughout the season.
Brad, you're the defensive coordinator of PDE. Do you feel that we on PDE should be higher than 4, or do you think that's right where we should be?
Honestly, I think that's right where we should be. I mean, we're right in the middle of the top teams. So, I mean, obviously you got teams like Animal Crackers and all of them. They are good and they're fantastic all around. But with us, we just need to clean up. But once we do, after this week, I know there's going to be some movement in the top 5.
All right, now we're going to go over to the co-rec leaderboard. We have Let 'em Loose at number 1 after their big win over EDF and Co. We have Sneaky Sneakers staying right where they were at 2, and Touch and Go at number 3. Pate, you've gotten to know a lot of the players on Touch and Go throughout the years. Do you think that they can climb this leaderboard a little more and chase the 2 in front of them?
I mean, absolutely. Touch and Go, they're a great team. They've obviously done some great things out on the field. I think, what is it, let them loose? Let it loose? Let them loose?
Let 'em loose.
Let them loose. I mean, they've just done such a good job at solidifying their position in the lead. It's going to be hard to catch up to them, but I think it's really important to play with that chip on your shoulder throughout the season, that you don't get too lackadaisical going into the playoffs, because playoffs not too far away. So they want to make sure they stay focused. They want to have something to chase going into it, because if you're right in front, it's hard to run all the way through the finish line if you're not chasing someone to get there.
Alrighty, let's get into our first game of the week. It is number 2 in the power rankings, I Chase Brown versus Ethan Pratola. I Chase Brown is 4-0 with the 3rd highest scoring offense and a top 10 defense to go with it. Ethan Pratola is 1-1 coming off a big upset win over Hogwarts. We have a spread at I Chase Brown minus 9.5. JT, what do you think for this game?
I think I Chase Brown, their offense is really hard to stop. Quarterback play is always top tier in the league, always trying to chase the better team in front of them. I feel like Ethan Petrola, they are a proven team, but even still, I think that I Chase Brown is too great for Ethan Petrola to win.
You know, I agree with you, JT. I Chase Brown, just sensational athletically all across the board. They got guys who can jump, guys who can throw, guys who can run. At the end of the day, it's hard to be a top 3 scoring offense in our rec league for men's. I mean, there's just so many terrific offenses. So they put points on the board. I think they're going to put a lot of them on the board. Give me I Chase Brown to cover the spread and the win.
Yeah, I Chase Brown is a very good team. Very athletic, very fast. They can jump, they can run. I think they can't keep it up for long. I think this week is going to be a change. I'm taking EP in this game.
EP getting the win. Pate, what are your thoughts on this one?
I have a simple question for y'all.
Okay.
What does the team need to do to win?
Score
Points. And what does Chase Brown do?
Score points.
Score points. Give me Chase Brown. I Chase Brown. Winning this game easily.
All right, that's 3 for I Chase Brown, 1 for Ethan Pratola. Now we're going to go to a frat-on-frat battle between the reigning national champions Beta taking on Pike. JT, It is a 2-1 Beta team that is undefeated since their blowout loss to Animal Crackers, taking on a Pike team that's only played one game. Who do you got?
That Beta loss at the beginning of the season, I feel like they were complacent coming into the season. They won the championship. They retained their best 2 players from last year, and they were like, oh yeah, it's going to be an easy run back. But since then, the quarterback play of Patrick Kirk has stepped up a lot, and he's so back to where he was last year.
You know, I think the big thing for Beta, obviously there's always a championship hangover. You see that in week 1. But cutting a guy that, Brad, you and I know pretty well, and Russell Kilkenny from their team, has really changed their season. You know, Russ had a lot of penalties in that game that really changed the tide. In a game that, it was a 31-point loss, but at the end of the day, penalties can have an impact on the 31-point loss, and there was about 5 or 6 of them just for Russ. So I think making those changes on the offensive line has helped Beta, and I think they take this game against Pike.
Hey, the biggest way to win a game is to show up. You need to show up. You need to play your absolute best. I feel like Pike hasn't really showed up this year, just playing one game. So I'm going to take Beta in this. I feel like they have the upper hand with the experience, but also they played last year and they played their butts off last year. So.
Absolutely.
This is an interesting game for me to hear about that. Pike and Beta is a marquee matchup. Back in the day, for those who might not know the history of flag football here on campus, Beta used to just be an absolute bottom feeder team. They'd show up with 5, maybe 6 guys, show up, get waxed by a solid 40 points by a middle-of-the-pack team. So hearing Beta have this redemption story throughout the years of going from this team where the own brothers in the frat didn't want to play for the team to now where they're just a pillar in the flag football community. It's just been a great redemption story to hear. Pike, on the other hand, they've always been good. They actually had some sanctions implemented on them almost a decade ago now for recruiting only athletes into their fraternity, and weren't allowed to recruit for a while on campus. So there's definitely a lot of history with both of these teams. But I think this might be a changing of the guard, where Pike is stepping down from that sort of upper echelon of flag football, and Beta's starting to take over. It's great to see the risers and the fallers. It feels like back in the day when App State won at Michigan as an FCS team to rise into FBS. I feel like that's what we're seeing from Beta right now. So give me Beta to win this Greek gauntlet we have going on this week.
Absolutely. That's 4 picks for Beta. Clean sweep. I'm really hoping that Pike doesn't pull this one out now because that'd be a really bad look, but we wish Pike the best. I think they're going to need all the luck that they can get against this national champion. All right, now we're going to go to the co-rec slate. We got Let 'em Loose, the #1 overall co-rec team taking on Touch and Go. Let 'em Loose beat EBF and Co., the returning champion, 41-6 last week. Dom Aquino, Peyton Curry, Sid Litweller, they were all Player of the Week candidates last week after their impressive display. Touch and Go, you know, they're an experienced roster built around the same core of the #1 team in men's, Animal Crackers, with Week 1 Player of the Week James Smith at quarterback. JT, who do you got in this powerful co-rec matchup?
Man, I love James Smith, but the reason why James Smith wins a lot in the men's league is because of Peyton Curry. And where does Peyton Curry play on the co-rec side? He plays for Let 'em Loose, not Touch and Go. And when you give a quarterback at the level of Dom Aquino is a great QB. His arm might have the best arm talent at QB in this league. So I feel like it's just easy to say Let 'em Loose. But also, watch for the girls. The girls, like I said, are the X factor in co-rec games. And by far, Let 'em Loose's girls are insane on another level compared to everybody else's. Sydney Litwiller might win MVP of the whole year for girls. Taylor Leach, the most proven girl, Grandma Mate, and her 6th year playing IM football. God, and we got Faith Bradley, the fastest girl that you'll ever see. Miles Garrett on the line, 6 sacks a game. And then Breezy Tyler, even though she had the injury a couple years ago, she's come back even stronger. So Let 'em Loose for the win.
You know, I'm with you on this one. I feel like it's going to be a very close game. A lot closer than Let 'em Loose's game with EBF and Co., but I think Let 'em Loose, just from a pure talent perspective, is going to come out with the win.
Yeah, I mean, splitting that Animal Crackers team in half, I mean, you know you're going to have some talent on both ends of the ball. But like JT said, it comes down to the women on the team. And I honestly just think Let 'em Loose has the upper hand in that.
Here's something both teams need to remember. It's the regular season. Nothing matters right now. So what's going to be important for both of these teams going into this game is not letting the whole playbook out on the field during this game. They need to make sure they still keep some tricks up their sleeves, some secrets in the bag so they can pull out for the playoffs. And I do think Let 'em Loose is going to win this game. I think it's going to be a lot more lopsided than people are thinking. I think Let 'em Loose is going to pretty easily win this. What I'm scared of is that they're going to let everything show out on the field, and they're not going to have anything left for the playoffs. So give me Let 'em Loose, but I think they need to be careful about how they approach this game for playoff implications down the road.
Gotcha. All right, that's 4 picks for Let 'Em Loose. That's another clean sweep for Let 'Em Loose. Keep in mind, that's now 3 weeks in a row. It's a clean sweep for Let 'Em Loose. Seems like they're the ultimate favorite here for any game, any matchup here in the Hpurec circuit. But we're going to go back to the men's here. We got PDE, number 4 in the power rankings, taking on Too Easy, 2 teams with championship aspirations and the talent to do it.
You know me, my track record with PDE. I have nothing but love for those boys, man. Those are my guys. Met them freshman year on campus. Our freshman year on campus. I love the talent that Don McQuino has. I've loved this breakout year for Nicholas Troopy, man. I'm so proud of Troopy from where he came from last year, where they had him just playing primarily defensive end to now being basically their wide receiver 1 on the outside. And I love that comeback story, the grind that he put over the summer. Obviously, it's proven great for them. And I don't think that Too Easy has enough IQ to even keep up with the PDE playbooks. So give me PDE to win that game.
You know, Brad, you and I, offensive and defensive coordinator for PDE, we know the talent that our team has at the end of the day. I mean, I'm not going to pick against our guys. I'm going PDE, but once again, these 2 teams played last year, went to overtime. It was the only time PDE pulled out an overtime win in their first 2 years in the league. So I'm going to go PDE. I think it's going to be another close one. Brad, what do you think defensively? How does PDE stack up against a high-octane Too Easy team?
Yeah, I mean, PDE has really come a long way in the last 2 weeks of football. Just figuring out how to line up, figuring out how to kind of mix in the plays to really defend these high-octane teams. But like we said, I mean, you can't help but be struck by the presence of Nick Troopy. He has made a statement this year from going from a DN to wide receiver 1. And, I mean, we have many weapons. Don McQuino being the Heisman runner. I mean, they have a really good team, a fast team, and I mean they go with pace. So I'm gonna take PDE in this one.
The person I think we're not talking about is Don McQuino. And to me, I think he has a great game. I think he's very, very sound. But he reminds me a lot of a Johnny Manziel type.
Wow.
A lot of flash, a lot of talent, but just not willing to do what it takes to get it done.
Wow.
I've heard him on record saying, I don't play defense, which that's fine if he doesn't play defense, but he's not willing to step up and do the things that a leader needs to do to help his team win the game. And when you're rallying around that kind of person, I feel like it's hard to get the boys motivated and get everyone to really buy in and do what you need to do to get the job done. So when that's the mentality that the leader of the team is having, it's hard for me to jump on board with, yeah, that's the team that I see getting it done. So give me Too Easy!
Wow.
Hey, you know what they say, though? The best defense is more offense.
It is. But tell me, what did Johnny Manziel do in college to solidify his legacy?
Party.
He won the Heisman. He beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
That's great. But what happened after? Nothing.
Nothing.
He was out of the league.
Yeah.
Win or lose, we booze.
Yeah.
And that's Don McQuino's mindset right there.
Finally, we've reached our game of the week. We have the number 1 seeded Animal Crackers taking on number 5 check downs only. Animal Crackers are 4-0 with the best point differential in all of intramural flag football, co-rec or men's. And then you got check downs only. JT, you know this team very well. However, yet to play a top 10 team.
Ooh, this checkdowns only team, I feel like I was really harsh on them week 1. And they proved me so wrong. I believe that checkdowns only has a great roster. Tanner Ripley is a great QB. What do we have on the other side of the ball? Man, there's this guy, we like to talk about on campus a lot, especially when it comes to flag football. His name is Peyton Curry. I feel like Peyton Curry hasn't had his greatest game yet, and I don't know if it's going to have it against checkdowns only, but just best believe that there is nobody that's going to be able to check Peyton Curry on the checkdowns only team. And I feel like that's going to be the deciding factor for Animal Crackers to win this game.
All right, this is a top 5 defense versus the number 1 offense in all of flag football. I think that checkdowns only is going to keep this one close. But I think the big factor in this game will be Animal Crackers defense. Very slept on, very underrated, only allowed 6 points this year. But their big thing is they can feast on short routes in short yardage. They tackle well. They're able to eliminate the short down plays from other teams' offenses with their defensive rush and their ability to eliminate the checkdowns. I don't see how checkdowns only has a chance. Give me Animal Crackers to go to 5-0.
We talk about Peyton Curry a lot, but I feel like James Smith is pretty slept on in the sense that, I mean, he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. He is very good, very disciplined in the pocket. He's able to run, he's able to pass, he's able to find these receivers. At the same time, Brady Oswick being questionable for this game, I'm really hoping his status is updated to healthy because I have him in my DraftKings this week. But with that being said, give me Animal Crackers.
very wise philosopher once said, if you ain't first, you're last. Give me the 1 seed. Give me the Animal Crackers. I see them going undefeated throughout the rest of the regular season.
We shall see. So that's 4 for the Animal Crackers. Really not much of a surprise there in my eyes. That's all for this week on Hpurec College Game Day. We wish these teams and all the teams in men's and co-rec the best of luck in their games this coming week. Thank you all so much for watching. From Nate Neubauer, J. Tonio Littlejohn, Brad Robinette, and Pate Dunlap, we say thank you and have a great week.